All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back. Hey, listen, if you have not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do so right now. Um, got a lot to unpack here. Now, look, I know you guys are like, okay, what are Will and Jada Pickett Smith stuff at? All right, look, I'm gonna get to that, but that's right now because there's so much to unpack with them because they got so much history. All right, so it's so much with them. But just look, just a quick thing on Jeezy and Jeannie Ma. All right, so that's what we're covering here, guys. Because this is just a little quick video on them. I know everybody tired of hearing about them or talking about them, but I want to let you guys know what happened with them and what's going on with them from an astrological aspect. Okay, so because I mean you like damn like everything was pretty nice, but no. See, when you dive deeper, you understand the dynamics of astrology and you understand the planetary alignments. You realize when you look into the charts, you were like, okay, everything's not good. It wasn't good. All right. So look, just looking at their wedding day, just look at the wedding day, okay? Now we don't know what time they got married or whatever, but we do know the date. All right. We do know they got married on March 27, 2021. All right. So just looking at that date and looking at the planetary alignments on that date. No, of course it wasn't good. It looked good, but when you really look into the intricacies of the chart, you realize, okay, you know what? It's really not good, just from an astrological aspect. It could have been better, you know what I'm saying? Had they waited maybe a week, um, the marriage could have lasted even longer. Okay. But however, once we look into the charts individually, you're going to realize, hey, you know what? These two never should have been together at all. Okay. Um, but just let's just focus on the wedding day right now. Okay. We're going to switch to the individual charts momentarily. All right. Like I said, we don't have the exact time of the wedding. But I just put it at 4 o'clock. That's when most people get married, right? But or maybe not. All right. But look, just take a look at what's going on. All right. So just look at the sun first. We know the sun is in Aries. All right. So look, this is like a new beginning for him. It's the 7 degrees of Aries. So you got a stellium with you got Mercury and you got Neptune up in there. You also have, Venus at 7. You got the sun at 7. You got Vulcan at 7. It's retrograde. You got Venus at 7 degrees, and you got Chiron at 8 degrees. Okay, so you got a pretty much packed stellium that we're looking at. Okay, now. What you guys got to realize is if you're a seasoned astrologer, but if you're not a seasoned astrologer, what you have to realize is when you have a planet close by the sun like this, it creates a situation of combustion, okay? Which means it burns the planet next to it out. What planet is right by the sun? You ask? Yep, Venus. It's in the same degree. It's exactly by the sun. But when planets are in the same sign as the sun and they're within 8.5 degrees of orb, is said to be combust. Okay, which means that the sun weakens that planet. So what we realize right now is Venus is weakened. And what does Venus rule? Of course, Venus rules love. It rules affection and a relationship and stuff like that. So we know that Venus is being debilitated just from the jump. Okay, so just on their wedding date. I mean, so as you can see, even right there is kind of doomed from the beginning in a way. Okay, because you got Venus combust. Venus is being burned out. Also, Chiron is being burned out. It's combust as well. So the only thing that's not combust, of course, is that Ceres, that asteroid right here. Yep, Ceres. It's like a little question mark. I don't know if you can see it or not, but yeah, Ceres has a lot to do with children and the conception of children. And what did they do? Yes, they had a lot. They had some kids. So they did have kids and stuff like that. So that was really nice. That came out of the marriage. So that was nice. That was very, very nice. So now, another thing to point out about their wedding date, if you take a look at Juno, Juno's at 23 degrees of Sagittarius. Now, although this is a separating aspect from Neptune, as you can see, Neptune is right by the sun as well as in that stellium. It's not right by the sun. It has an orb of, it has a lot of orb to it, but it's in the stellium nonetheless because it's kind of right by it. Because the sun rays, the beams, they're really bright. Okay, so it kind of shines a little light on it. However, you got Juno right there, 23 degrees of Sag, and you got Neptune at 21 degrees of Pisces. And as you know, Neptune is a higher octave of Venus, okay? And it's squaring Juno. And although it's a separating aspect, it still has some bearing on it, okay? And of course, Juno rules marriage, partnerships, and relationships. So, so even with that, you got that square going on. Now, the most important thing about this wedding date, I would say would be Jupiter as well. Okay, Jupiter is at 22 degrees of Aquarius on this day. If you look at what it's doing, it's creating a semi-square to the sun and Venus. So, and what is what does Jupiter rule? Jupiter rules respect, right? All right. So, when you got that going on, Jupiter rules respect. It also rules loyalty and stuff. So, and what we got going on is some disrespect, okay, within the relationship. So you start off, with that energy, and it's like, damn, it's a lot going on. So, and then you got Venus. Venus rules culture, okay, and of course, Jupiter's creating that semi-square, okay. So with the culture going on, it's like the cultures don't mix, unfortunately, okay. Of course, Jupiter rules that international type flavor too, right? In this case, it's very unconventional, all right, flavor, all right. So now you got Mercury right there. It says 17 degrees of, 17 degrees of Pisces, right? So as you know, Mercury is in its detriment. Okay, so it's very detrimental for Mercury to be in that particular sign. All right, very delusional, right? Very delusional thinking when it comes to this marriage, right? All right, so and all that's squaring Juno as well. Okay, so that's squaring Juno. So you got Mercury squaring Juno. And not only that, but you got the Sun and Venus that's squaring Jupiter. Venus is already debilitated because it's being burnt out by the Sun. So so you got that aspect going on. Jupiter rules loyalty and stuff like that. So now the Moon rules change. Okay, so you got some changes going on over the years. Now, at the time, we don't know what degree that the moon is in, but it's probably somewhere between, I would say, maybe 20 and 24 degrees. Right now, it's at 24 degrees because we put it at 4 o'clock. So you got that going on. So, just taking a look at, at their wedding date, it's detrimental anyway. And if you take a look at, you got Mars in Gemini, that's squaring Mercury. So, we're going to have some arguments in the marriage. You see what I'm saying? You got the North Node and Mars, both in Gemini, squaring Mercury. All right. At 17 degrees of Pisces. So, And of course, we know it's a separating aspect with Mercury, but like I said, it still has some effect to it. Okay, so you got communication, you got arguments going on based on miscommunication, based on um, a lot of misunderstandings. Now, the positive things that they got going, they got a lot of positive stuff too. They got, got a lot of international history. They like to start things new. They like to do things with the trine. They got the Sun and Venus and Chiron trine in the South Node. So that's a beautiful thing. So they got some positive stuff going on as well. So it's not all negative, but we want to take a look at why things happen the way they happen. Okay, so and once we get a grasp of that, we can see the positive things. Um, Now Saturn, of course, it rules longevity. They did last a bit long. They had the energy to last long because the Saturn is 11 degrees of Aquarius. It creates a nice little trine to the North Node and Mars at 13 degrees. So they went into the future a little bit. Okay, so they had a little continuity. They had a little flow to them. Okay, which is really good. All right, which is real good. All right, and then that Saturn, of course, it created a sextile to the South Node, which is good. It had a lot of opportunity to share a lot of history. You know what I'm saying? So, it was really good. It was real good. So, but let's just take a look at the individual charts. Now, of course, y'all look. As you know, I do not have a birth time, okay? And I'm not taking time to get it because, of course, they're not paying me for this, all right? So, but let's just take a look at the planetary alignments. Not really the houses that the planets are falling in, but the alignments that they create and the aspects they create to each other and the planets, all right? So, again, we talk a lot about combustion, okay? About a planet being combust and how it makes that next planet to the sun very ill-dignified and debilitated. Here we go again. And again, she was being truthful, okay, about herself, saying, hey, I have an anger issue. Yes. All right. And you can see right here, the sun is at 13 degrees. She has Mars right by her sun. Now, I'm going to tell you this, guys, right now. Anytime you have someone with Mars right by the sun, all right, they're violent, okay? I'm telling you that right now. Jeannie Mars, she's very violent, all right? They get irritated. They're very argumentative. Of course, Mars rules arguments. Mars rules fights, war. Mars rules violence, okay? So anytime you have someone that has their sun right by Mars, they are violent. Okay, they may not have shown it, but I can tell you right now, Jeezy saw another side of her. Okay, a very violent side of her, but he's probably not saying it. But yeah, he saw another side of her that was probably very violent and very detrimental to him. This is in Capricorn, so this is some physical. Okay, this is like physical violence. All right, so she has a capacity to be physically violent. All right, unfortunately, with that sun being combust right by the sun. All right, and these are repeat patterns that she's shown as well, because you got Pallas. You got the asteroid Pallas at 20 degrees of Capricorn right by Mars. Okay, so she's gonna continue to show these repeat patterns. Now, we may not see that in public, but this is something that happens in private. Okay, very verbally violent. So physically as well, but this can come in the form of verbal as well. Okay, with Mars being by the sun and being combust by the sun like that. All right. Not only that, but you got Mars and the sun squaring Pluto. Okay. And Pluto is at 19 degrees of Libra. Okay, and what does Libra rule? Of course, Libra rules is ruled by Venus. Okay, so that's has a lot to do with relationships. So she's going to be very she's going to be violent and have a temper. And she was right about her temper because Mars rules quick tempers. Okay, hot tempers. So yeah, she was definitely, she knows herself. I mean, that's very good for her to have that self recognition, and self-analyzation for herself and say, you know what, hey, I got this issue. And look, it's not her fault. She was born like this. Okay. This is how she was designed. She was designed to have a temper. Okay. Anyone that was born with Mars right next to the sun, they're going to have a temper. They're going to have anger issues. That's just how they're designed. Now, if you're with someone like that, you have to be able to deal with it because this is how they're designed. All right. Now, if you can't deal with them like this, then you got to leave them alone because they were born like this. So you cannot look, there's no way she can change that behavior. Now, what she can do, she can try to channel that energy. She can channel that anger and rage into something more productive in the relationship. But being that it's squaring Pluto, Pluto's rules destruction. So she's very destructive when she gets angry. Okay, she can get angry and be very destructive, or she can find some balance within that Pluto, right? Because it's in Libra, and that's that balance, right? So she can find some balance and find a middle ground, okay? And as we gonna see with the two, that middle ground was sex, okay? All right, so this is how they balance things out. Okay, they balance things out through sex because we had that midpoint in Scorpio, okay, with this entire square and dynamic in her chart, okay. So yeah, and we got Mercury in Sag, so she values her freedom, of course, the way she thinks. Now, now she has Juno. And it's also squaring her Venus. Juno is squaring her Venus, so she wasn't really designed to be in relationships. Okay, and you will see repeat patterns of it if you guys are seasoned like me and you start getting up practice or something like that. You'll see that if someone has Venus squaring Juno, it's for a reason. Okay, the chart always reaches out to you and say, hey, this is the reason they're not good in relationships. Okay, and she has those anger issues. Okay, and that's very hard when you have anger issues, and you're very violent. It's very hard for you to be in a relationship. Okay, so it's very difficult, but nonetheless, her Juno is in Aquarius, so that rules. When you got Juno in Aquarius, it's like unconventional relationships, right? Not normal, not traditional. Okay, so you got that going on, and then it's squaring Venus, so she doesn't look at love the same way as a traditional person does. All right, it's looked at a little bit different. It's looked at by saying, hey, I can have my freedom too. I can do this and that. I can do what I want to do. But you really can't do what you want to do in relationships. You got to have boundaries, right? So that's very important. So so it's going to square that Venus at 27 degrees of Scorpio. And that Scorpio is like, nah, we're fixed here, okay? Because, Scorpio is in a fixed sign, all right? Is a fixed sign. Venus is in a fixed sign. Now, although Scorpio is in his detriment in Venus, that's also ill-dignified to the relationship as well because she loves deep, but she wants this other type of love as well to have a freedom. So you can't really have both, right? It's either one or the other. Either you're going to have boundaries or you're going to do what you want to do. And that square is so hard to navigate, with her in her chart. So she has a hard time navigating that, unfortunately. Either, she wants this really good love in relationships, but on the other hand, I want to have one foot in the door and one foot out the door. That's kind of how she's kind of rolling. And that's very detrimental to the other person. Okay. So, you have to take that into account, You have to take all that into account. So it's many other things in here, but I'm not gonna take a whole lot of time on her. But let's just switch gears. Let's take a look at Jeezy's chart. He wasn't really designed to be in a relationship as well. Uh, he has his Juno at 27 degrees of Scorpio. Okay, so we got that going on. Um, you know, so he's good on a lot of stuff as well. But what we have to learn about his chart is this right here. He's let me just say this. He's a very violent person. All right. Well, I wouldn't say violent, but he's not a guy to be fucked with. Okay. Jeezy, he will get at your ass. All right. He's one of those guys where he's not to be fucked with. This guy will kill you. I mean, I'm not gonna be honest with you. He will get at you. He'll kick your ass. All right. He has Mars. It's in his fall. It's 16 degrees of it's crazy. He has Mars at 16 degrees of Cancer. Okay. Mars being at 16 degrees of Cancer, of course, is in his fall. Okay. It's not in a good place. So it's very, it sparks with emotion. Okay. So the violence comes with the emotion. All right. So it's really not a good thing. Right. Now, getting back to his Juno, it's at 27 degrees of Scorpio. So he loves deep. Okay. When he gets in a relationship, he loves deep. That's one thing about him. Now, what he does have, when I was looking at the Juno at 27 degrees, he has Saturn at 26 degrees of Leo, and that creates a huge square. So in terms of longevity, when it comes to relationships, he's learned over the years to try to make the longevity of it, but he's really not designed to have longevity in relationships. Okay, unfortunately, easy for him to get in. He loves deep, but in terms of having a long-term relationship, it'll be very, very hard. Also, he has Venus in Virgo. Venus is in his fall in Virgo. Okay, because you're trying to find perfection in love and all that stuff. So that became a very difficult thing for him to do as well. So he just can't find that perfect woman. So in terms of that, you got the square with Saturn and Juno. Okay, so but other than that, I mean, just kind of looking at their relationship, he has Mercury in Virgo. He can see stuff. I mean, he looks at every little thing. Okay, she does. Finding those lies that she tells and all that stuff, not being accountable. So he's a very traditional guy. Okay, very traditional guy, especially with that Saturn and Leo. Very loyal when it comes to relationships and stuff. A little bit, but he's learned over the years to be a little loyal. Okay, but that square, it's very hard for him with that square with Juno and Scorpio, right? Because it's very hard. He had to find that middle ground and find those repeat patterns within himself to find that balance. Okay, that's what he had to do. So he's very balanced. He has grown. I mean, shout out to Jeezy. He's grown over the years to find that balance. Okay, which is real good. I mean, him being a Libra like that and having that 5 degrees of Libra. Early on, it was very hard for him to find that balance, but he's found that balance, which is really good. That's kept him out of jail. Looking at both sides of things. Should I do it? Should I not? I mean, so he's well balanced now. So shout out to him for growing and being well balanced. And shout out to him for just taking control of his anger, because he has anger issues as well. I mean, he has he has Pluto squaring Mars. Okay, so that's very destructive. Okay, I mean, that's why I say he's a very dangerous man. Okay, very dangerous guy. I mean, he he can fuck some shit up. He can destroy some shit too. And that's why I say these two do not need to be together, because they can destroy each other. Okay, she has a score with Pluto as well. She's very violent. He's violent. So, shout out to him for noticing, those intricacies within her and himself. And he's like, wait a minute, we're gonna destroy each other if we keep going here. But now I will say the positive things. Oh my God, they had some fire ass sex. Now, I mean, seriously, that's what kept them together. Okay, this long was their sexual chemistry. They had some really good sexual chemistry. So shout out to them for having that. Even she was talking about it. I saw some videos online where she was talking about, the head game or whatever. But they did a lot of freaky shit. I can tell you that. So they're really good with the sex stuff. But it'll get you in, but it won't keep you. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately. She's very sexual with her Venus in Scorpio at 27 degrees. And that created a conjunction with his Juno at 27 degrees of Scorpio. So, you had a nice little conjunction of sexual chemistry within the marriage and relationship. So that really kept them together. But it was those other aspects and planetary alignments, like the anger and the arguments, and just that violent tendency that really kind of destroyed the marriage. Okay. So you have to look out for those things. If, you're with someone and they haven't learned to balance or channel their rage and all that rageful and violent energy, you're going to get that. You're going to get what you see with Jeezy and Jeannie Ma, okay? You're going to get all of that, okay? Now, if you guys got good sex, and look, a lot of us were born out of this, right? Our parents are divorced now, and they was always arguing and fighting, but they balanced it out with sex. And this is what happened with Jeezy and Jeannie Ma. They had really good sexual chemistry, and they went on ahead and got married anyway. And they really tried to make it work. Okay, I mean, especially Jeezy, he tried to make it work. He tried to, cross all the cultures and stuff like that. But like I said, once they got married on that particular day, the cultures didn't mix and the respect wasn't there. Okay, it was, it started off kind of good, and she's really good at acting. So, but you can only act for so long. Okay, she has Mercury in Sagittarius, and she has Jupiter. She has Neptune in Sagittarius as well. Okay, so that's all acting. That's all acting. So, she can only act for so long until it becomes, well, wait a minute. Jeezy with his Virgo, he like, wait a minute. You ain't acting the same. You ain't saying the same stuff. So, he would always remember what she would say. And, then he catching her in lies. And he like, wait a minute, you just said this then, and now you doing another thing. So he's watching her actions, watching what she say. So when you got all that stuff going on, man, and Mercury's in his detriment in Sagittarius. So she's gonna probably put her foot in the mouth, and just say stuff that she forgot. And then he's catching her in lies. So, and then, you got the argument and her having that Mars right by the sun. She's going to have repeat patterns of, snapping back at him, just being harsh and hard. Because, when it's in Capricorn like that, you become a little, hardened, okay? So, she becomes a little hard, not soft. He was looking for something a little bit more malleable, a little bit more softer and nice, not that hardened Capricorn type, energy. Okay. So when you got Capricorn, it's very dry, that, especially when it's right by the sun, but like that, it's being combusted by the sun. So it's a dry type person, and he was looking for something that was a little, soft, because his Juno is right by is right in Scorpio. Okay, so he's looking for something that's gonna you know get to his emotions. Look, somebody's gonna get to his emotions, not his physicality. You got the Venus in Virgo, so that's kind of down to earth. So they connected. They connected with that. I would say that they really connected with that. His Venus is 7 degrees, so that trined her sun. His Venus is at 7 degrees of Virgo, so that created a nice little trine with the sun. So it was, they had some nice stuff. They had some nice, compatibility points, but it just wasn't enough to keep them going. Okay, that trine with his Venus in Virgo with her sun, it just wasn't enough to overcome, the anger and the tendencies to be violent and destroy each other. You have to have more than just one trine, okay, when it comes to compatibility in relationships and from an astrological perspective, okay, you have to have more than one trine. They have too many squares, okay, I will say that. They square off too much, okay? And like I said, they got a lot of love for each other, but they know truly that they'll destroy each other, okay, at the end of the day. So, and that's not something they want their children to see, their parents destroying each other. So, and which is good. I'm glad they, got the mindset of not destroying each other, knowing that they can destroy each other. Okay, so it's good that they had an understanding. They still got love for each other because they got that, down to earth trine. So they kind of down to earth with each other. So, and that's a plus. You know what I'm saying? Really good stuff. So, but just a quick video. I know this video kind of went over. It's probably some stuff that I wanted to, put in there, but it's just not enough time, man. I'll be on the chart for like hours and hours. I already done spent 30 minutes on this, and this is just a wedding day, and I didn't even have really a birth time. You know what I'm saying? So if I had a birth time, I was looking at the houses and stuff like that. And that's what I say about Will and Jada. I mean, look, it's all about respect. Even with Jeannie Ma and Jeezy, I mean, the respect wasn't there starting off. And, once I get to their charts, with Will and Jada, because I got some birth time, so it's gonna be a long one. I might have to do a live on it. But if you got this far, like and subscribe to my channel. Share this video. You know what I'm saying, to whoever wants to learn astrology and understand the astrological aspects, and just coming from an astrological standpoint with these celebrities, because everybody's different. Celebrities are not so different. They still have their little thing too. So like and subscribe, and see you in the next video.